Guys, section 2 we're going to do parabolas. This is all a part of conic sections. So here we go. You guys thought we did parabolas before, which we did, but there's more to it than we knew before. So let's take a look at some notes on parabolas. Alright, you know basically this, y equals ax squared. You know, y equals 4x squared. And you would probably say that thing goes up. Y equals 4x squared. 4 is positive. It goes up. And if I put 4 as negative, like y equals negative 4x squared, you would say, oh, that goes down, right? That's what you know so far. Opens up or opens down, with a vertex of 0, 0 in both of these cases. Axis of symmetry, x equals 0. So I'm going to ask you for a lot of things in this section. I'm going to say axis of symmetry. I'm going to ask you for focus, directrix. There's a lot of little formulas, so I advise you to do this. Every formula you write down, star it, because you're going to need to know it for the quiz and test. Alright? So axis of symmetry is x equals 0. You guys remember what an axis of symmetry is? Right here in the red. It cuts the parabola in half. Okay? So it'll be, in this case, x equals 0. Alright? Straight up and down, that's x equals. And it's always, in all these problems, it's always going to be 0. You're lucky. So on any parabola, each point is equidistant from a point called the focus. So now here's your parabola, and if you notice this point right here, that point is called the focus, and it lies on your axis of symmetry. So that's a new term maybe for some of you. Another new term is directrix. Okay, this is a line that's perpendicular to the axis. Here's the axis of symmetry. This is perpendicular to it. Okay, now you know the vertex. Vertex is right here on this parabola, right? Max or min. Okay, so here's the deal. Your focus, your point of focus, is equidistant. That's the same distance from here to here as it is from here to here, which is your directrix right here. Okay, notice your directrix, notice your focus. Okay, it's the same distance from here to here as it is from here to here, and that's what this is saying right here. On any parabola, equidistant from a point called the focus, and a line called the directrix. So a directrix is a line. Okay, so you can say it's, in this case, it's horizontal, so it's y equals some number. Okay, our axis of symmetry is straight up and down, so that's x equals some number, which it's always going to be 0 for these cases. Okay, so know your new terms here. Focus, vertex, directrix. Where are they located? The focus is always inside of the parabola. So if I drew you parabola like this, your focus would be somewhere in here, right? Your directrix would then be, if this is the focus, your directrix would be somewhere up here. Notice they're equidistant to the vertex. Okay? So know these new terms, know how to kind of find some things. I'm going to give you some formulas. Before I do that, well, here's some formulas here. You know parabolas going up or down, but now they're also going to go right and to the left. It all depends on the equation that I give you. Now write these two equations down. X squared equals 4py and y squared equals 4px. Let's kind of look at those two things. This is kind of like y equals x squared. You know y equals x squared is up or down. Now look at this one. You probably never had this one before. Y squared equals something x. So x equals y squared is going to go left or it's going to go right. Okay? So write those two down. Kind of label them. Put left or right for this one. Up or down for this one right here. Okay, the equation opens up or down has a vertex of 0, 0. You're always going to have that. Notice all these vertices are 0, 0. We don't have to play with that. It does change up, but this chapter only does it for 0, 0. Can also be written in this form or this form. So parabolas left or right, if it's this form, y squared equals something x. Any parabola below the focus and directrix each lie p units from the vertex. So from here to here is p units, from here to here is p units. P, P, so on, so on. Technically absolute value of P. So if P is negative, it's, you know, positive, right? So that's all you can get from this one. Notice x squared equals 4py only if P is less than 0, which means if it's negative, obviously it's going to go down, okay? X squared equals 4py. If P is positive, it's going to go up. So just pay attention to P. If it's negative, it's going to do something. If it's positive, it's going to do something. What about down here? Y squared equals something x. I know that's okay. That's left or right because it's y squared. So therefore, P is greater than 0. This P right here is greater than 0, so that means it's going to go right. If P is less than 0 for y squared equals 4px, then you know it's going to go left. Okay? Now I need you to know, I need you to write down something here. Notice the directrix in all these. This directrix, it's horizontal, so that's why it's y equals negative P. So if your focus is 0, P, your directrix is going to be the opposite of this number right here. Take note of that. Your directrix is the opposite of whatever that number is for the focus. Okay? 0p, well, okay, that's y equals negative p. Same thing over here. If this is your focus, 0p, then this is the opposite. Y equals still negative p. They're just opposites from each other. Okay? So know that. Focus, directrix, opposites. Same thing here. Now look at this. It's x equals negative p. Here's where the confusion sets in. Oh, is it y equals or x equals? So just think this. If it's going up or down, the line has to be going horizontal, which means y equals. If it's going left or right, the directrix has to be up and down, which means it's x equals, right? So just think about that. All right. So directrix is x equals negative p, x equals negative p. Please write that down. Y equals negative p for these two, x equals negative p for these two. Now notice the focus. It's either going to be 0p for up or down, or it's going to be p0 for left or right. There's a lot of little things that I want you to kind of go over. You can't just skim through this one and just think you'll remember. You have to like set it up in your brain like, all right, it's y equals in these cases, it's x equals in these cases, it's p0 in these cases, it's 0p in these two cases. All right, because I will, I'll take out points for that kind of stuff if you're not quite sure. All right, so get that kind of stuff down, understand it. All right, now here's some equations. Actually, I told you some. So if your equation is x squared, first thing that should come to your mind is this. It's x squared equals. So therefore it's up or down, right? So that means your focus is always going to be 0p because it's always on this line. It's 0p up here or 0p down here, whatever p is. Okay, p can be negative. Okay. Next one. If that's it, I'll just draw it like this. I will just say it's up, which means your directrix is this way. Now your directrix is always y equals negative p, the opposite of whatever p is. Okay? And then your axis of symmetry is this way. So it's x equals 0. Alright, the other one. What if I gave you one to the left here? What can you tell me? Well, here's your vertex. Here's your focus somewhere in here. And here's your directrix over here. So it's always y squared equals for left or right. It's always p0. I mean, think about it. This has to be something comma 0. And this has to be, if focus was over here, it'd be something comma 0. You have to think it through logically. Next, your directrix is up and down. That's why it's x equals something, negative p, whatever p is. And lastly, your axis of symmetry is right through the middle of the parabola. So it is y equals 0. Okay? These are your cases. Study them. Make sure you understand them. Okay? That's a big part of understanding the section. Understand these things right here.